Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Monday edition of Benzinga's PreMarket Prep. Spencer Israel, Joel Elconin, and Dennis Dick with you this morning. I guess we should talk about the latest developments in the trading war. We'll do that. We'll walk through the market's reaction to those developments. And that's going to be the big story of the morning, and I feel like the week, because there isn't much else in the way of macro news or earnings or anything to kind of fill the news void here. So it'll be a lot of trading war stuff. We do have some ratings. We have some news in biotech land, a deal involving Bristol Myers and Amgen. So we'll talk about that. We'll just talk about general trading at the close on Friday and heading into the open today. Our guest, Tracey Ryniec, one of our favorites. She is a stock strategist at Zacks Investment Research. She will join the show at 8:35. In the meantime, Joel, what's happening here overnight?
Oh, not much, Spencer. Just a 78-point range in the S&P 500 index futures. Had the lower open and one of the quickest 20-point drops I've seen in a long time. Made a pre-market low of 28.10 1/4. So that's your target on the downside. That took out your August 15th low. We know about that at 17.75. Pre-market high comes in at 88.50. Absolutely nothing up there. I'm looking to see what happens in this 28.70 handle. It's been an area where we've gone up and down quite a bit. So looking at 28.75 as resistance as we speak. Crude, big old range in crude as well. Went down as low as 52.96, back up at 54.73. That's up 56 cents. Gold catching a bid, but off its highs, up 330 at 1540.90. You have silver, that's in the green too by 20.7 cents to 17.62. Bitcoin being kind of quiet today. Bitcoin futures are flat, down $35 at 10,425. Let's bring in Triple D, who I'm sure is going to have a lot to say here on this Monday morning in August.
He's trying to. He's in a fast market here.
Fast market over there?
A little bit. I'm just adjusting and actually trying to get some of my other work done here too to prepare for my trading day, because obviously there's been a lot happening here overnight. I mean, so let's just talk the whole Trump thing. We talked about this on Friday. I'm rarely come out very bearish on the show, and I obviously had a pretty bearish rant here on the show with good reason. And my reasoning was that there was two things, obviously, with the whole Trump situation, that the negotiations, he obviously didn't get a good feel for it with the tariffs coming in, or he was lying to us. So, and that's why I was like, both of those are bad for the market. I was absolutely shocked when the market went green. That was a gift. And then we collapsed after that. Obviously, overnight, we've sold off significantly on follow through because we fell off significantly on follow through from everything that was happening on Friday. And then what happens? Trump comes with his Twitter account again and talking up the market. I don't know if I can believe any of it. This is the problem. Can you believe, did he really have a good conversation? Here he is on Friday ordering our U.S. companies out of China to stop, dealing with China. And then comes out on the weekend on Sunday and saying he had a good conversation. Negotiations are going well. Do we believe any of this? Is this believable? What are your thoughts? Spencer, you said we already had some commentary here from some China official or something about this?
Yeah, so the initial headline, this is from Trump himself, said that they'd spoken, the U.S. and China had spoken 2 productive phone calls over the weekend, although when he was pressed by those calls, he said he didn't want to talk about them. But he said, spoke to China, and we're on good terms, and it's all going well.
How can you be on good terms after you just ordered 48 hours ago? You just ordered all your countries out of the U.S.
Right?
So out of China, all your U.S. companies out of China. Now you're on good terms.
So Bloomberg had a headline. They spoke with the spokesperson for China's foreign ministry. They said they are not aware of any phone calls between the U.S. and China over the weekend. The head of the China Global Times, major newspaper over there, said he doesn't is not aware of any phone calls over the weekend. So
the stuff is just unbelievable.
Yeah,
that's
kind of where we stand right now.
And this is honest to God truth. I have gotten a couple phone calls from China over the last couple of weeks.
What are you talking about?
I swear to God, right around 2 o'clock.
Call Joel and say, I don't believe any of it. We want to come on pre-market prep.
It must be, I don't know what it is, but it comes from a Chicago number, and I have some friends in Chicago. I also have some brokerage accounts in Chicago. And so I pick up the number, and actually Brent's not here. Brent's in Europe, and Brent listened to it. And so, I'm not sure what
you think she's trying to call you.
I mean, you tell I'm the only reasonable person in the United States that he wants to negotiate with me. But
let's just put it in perspective here. I mean, you now have a Chinese official denying this phone call. Is the president lying to us? Is he lying to us? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I mean, you can put some stuff together. And I know Paul LaMonica, I was asking the same question on Twitter here too from CNN. What was read Paul's tweet? We have Paul on the show all the time. Read his tweet.
I got to pull it up right now. I didn't have it up in front of me.
It's exactly what we're thinking. Was there a phone call or not? We're up 70 handles on this phone call. We basically are, Joel, are we not?
Yeah, from the low, you're up 80.
We're up 70 handles on a phone call. Did the phone call happen? Or is it made up? And if he's making this stuff up, that's real bad. I hope it's not made up. I hope they don't get confirmation that there was no phone call, because this market is going to implode if that happens.
You got the tweet there, Spencer?
Oh, just him asking the question with a gif of the song from Call Me Maybe. I mean, I mean, that's the question of the day here. Did this call happen?
Did this call happen? It matters. It's going to move. If this call is confirmed that it did happen, we could continue to rally a little bit. If somebody denies this phone call, somebody big, like Chi comes out and says, we never talked to President Trump, we are going to fall 50 handles in 5 seconds if that happens.
You're making me nervous, Dennis.
I'm nervous. I think it's a gift rally again, because I challenge whether this phone call happened. What did Paul say, LaMonica? I think people are all thinking the same thing.
I mean, we're all thinking the same thing. We're all thinking the same thing here. So,
what did he say? Because it's CNN. So,
yeah, there's really no way to verify. I guess the only thing that we could get would be if she himself came out,
and he might. I mean, I think on Friday was the Chinese way of saying negotiations are not going well. I said that on the show on Friday, which is why I was, telling everybody that I'd be very nervous about buying that dip when we were down 100 Dow points. We ended up 600 Dow points. Now, okay, so go back and what's Paul's tweet? Do you have it in front of you now?
I did have it in front of me.
He said, so did Trump talk on the phone with Chinese officials or not?
Yeah.
And he has a clip of that Call Me Maybe. Remember that?
That song.
Yeah.
Here's my number. Call me maybe. Paul's always funny. But no, this is the question of the day. I mean, this is what the markets have come down to, which is sad. That we've come down to whether a phone call happened or not, whether we can believe our president or not. That is what this market has come down to. I mean, I don't remember situations where where stuff is just blatantly made up to try to prop the market back up. I hope that is not the case. I really hope, and we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the phone call did happen, but there is media challenging that whether this phone call happened or not, and it may not have. And if that's the case, this is just market manipulation, is all it is. If there's no phone call, this is just market manipulation, in my opinion. So he doesn't want, and he's probably not profiting from it, but he doesn't want the markets down. He tweets all the time about how the Dow has performed under his reign, and he doesn't want it down. He sees us down 600 points, and he's there thinking, what can I do to bring the markets up? Maybe he gave a call, maybe it went well, maybe he really did that, and that's better news. But if this is just made up, fabricated to try to bring the markets back up, that's really bad. So there's so many unknowns here, so many, so much that we don't know. We don't really know how these negotiations are going. It's very scary to come in and say, okay, I'm going to come in here and buy this market. I mean, somebody's bought up 70 points from the lows last night. If this phone call did not happen, we could be back down at those lows in a heartbeat. So if I was overweight this market, and I'm not, if I was, I would be thinking about lightening up into the rally again. That is my opinion.
The reason we're so skeptical here this morning is because every indication was that talks were going well. And then we got last week.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we thought. I didn't challenge. I was like, okay, they're having good talks. It's good. It's good news. But when those tariffs happened on Friday, that was telling you the talks were not going well. So, like I said on the Friday show, the pre-market show, when we were down 100 Dow points, I said there's one of two things here. Either he's not feeling out the negotiations very well, which is scary, or he's flat out lying to us, which is even more scary. So now you look and you're like, okay, now you had another phone call. Was it a good phone call? Are you feeling that negotiation out well? Or, are you right this time? Or are you making it up? I hope he's not making it up. So hopefully, it's not the case that he's making it up, because he made this phone call up, they get confirmation. Or if the Chinese, officials come out and say there has been no phone call, I think we're going to just implode. So I'm very scared that could happen today, that there could be some confirmation come out that there was absolutely no call made, and this is just all made up, because that just means that the president is lying to us, and that is a very scary thought.
You know what's a good idea to do today, and different strategies is selling on strength and selling on weakness and stuff. If today maybe the strategy will be just have some sell stops in the market or sell stop limits to initiate, because when these moves are so quick and they're so fast that you say, oh, I want to hit it at 28.67.75, and you blink and it's at 28.55. And what I've been noticing on some of my executions, man, I mean, I've almost been getting my price on both the upside and the downside with buy stops and sell stops. So, we're in. If you're really worried, you can put in a sell stop limit, and what, where you can get executed at. But that's what I think. That's a plan. You got to have a strategy. We could talk about whether all this stuff is true or not true or whatever. But what we're here for is to give you like a trading plan to take the news, be advantage of it. I'm not going long today. I will not go long.
I will not be buying one stock today.
I'm not, and maybe I'll lose.
Maybe as day trades, but nothing in the swing trading account long, nothing in the investment account long. I am long short. I'm always doing the day trade, so I'll be doing my day trading still, playing. But I'll be very cautious on the longs too. Like even the long stocks you have long, I want to make sure I'm equivalent short. I don't want to be any net long today overall.
What if you were a moron?
That can happen anytime. There's going to be another headline either way, and the market's going to have big movement. But I just think you already had the big move up here overnight. Yeah, we're only getting a third of our losses back, but I mean, this is just gone on the borderline ridiculous.
What if you were just a moron on Friday, right? And you kept on putting moron, moron, and spoos.
Adding to your loser there, you're done.
No, but you get this pop this morning.
Oh, you're selling into it. You're like, thank goodness, thank you, Trump. I'm getting the hell out. I think we're already seeing that, Joel. We're 20 handles off the high.
I know.
We're already leaking those gains. This all happened. How quickly? Show us the overnight chart. How quickly did those gains come overnight? Because we were down last night. At one point, we were down another 35 handles.
Yep.
So how quickly did these gains? Can we see the overnight chart there, Spencer? Show us S&P futures overnight chart.
I've got the SPY up.
Well, the SPY doesn't.
But the overnight.
The SPY is not the real market.
No, we need the S&P futures.
Can you get the S&P up there?
I need to call Tracy and get my futures up. My futures quotes.
Okay, we got it.
Okay, so sorry, we don't have the futures chart. Well, we'll fix that. Anyways, I can tell you.
I'll call them.
Describe it for us because you have it in front of you. How quickly did that happen? That spike last night. It was on the headline.
Okay, I'm looking. See, I try not to go any quicker. I mean, there was one 5-minute bar at 3:00, and I'll just give you.
When did the bulk of the gains happen? What time?
Bulk of the gains happened at 2:45. We were trading at 36.25, so we were still red. And then we hit the high. We added 15 handles in the next 15-minute bracket, then another 15 handles in the next. So between 2:30 and 3 is when the majority of the gains were, before the 4:00 open. So
very, very quickly.
Yeah, but we came off the low hard. I mean, and also I was watching the S&Ps, and I was watching the micro futures, and they opened up $3 apart. The same instrument on the same. I mean, they both came in really quickly. But the big SPU opened at 31.71, 31.75, and the micro opened up at 34. And then the ARBs just like boom, 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 came in and brought it. And it went straight down to 10.25, and you got a nice bounce. And, when it got back up to yesterday's low, which was 28.34, Friday's low, I'm like, okay, this enough is enough. And, we'll see what happens overnight. But it was quick. Use your levels, use your stops. And yeah, I'm sorry, folks. When I say someone's being a moron, it's a pun.
He's just using it as a pun, meaning they were a moron for buy, but it's not. He's paying more on.
Yeah,
so
more on.
We've used that before. I hate adding to losers.
Yep.
Joel hates adding to losers. We're not big, fans of like averaging down. Joel jokes, never frown average down, but it's a joke. When we're always doing it in a joking sense, but we don't like adding to losers on this show. So Joel's saying, you're putting more on in a losing situation. You can sometimes be, it's kind of like being a moron. So, and that's just our opinion. Obviously, there's a lot of people maybe average down and they do well, but I've always lost a lot of money when I add to my losers. So I don't like adding to losers ever. I like to press my winners more than anything. But, everybody's got their own trading style, right? So we are leaking significantly here. We've leaked since we started the show about 7-8 handles. I honestly think we're going to, if I'm in my opinion, I think we're going to close red today. So I think we could close heavy red if that phone call gets denied. So it all depends on this phone call. Phone call gets confirmed. So, it's hard to call anything technically. Phone call gets confirmed, that it happened, that they're having good talks. They say if she says on the other side, yes, talks are going well, we're going to rally. If she says on the other side that no, talks haven't even happened, we're going to sell off significantly. So it all depends on how talks really are going, whether we can believe what has been tweeted by the president or not, and what is the status of this phone call.
Yeah, and I don't know about
ridiculous that the market is contingent on this, but it is.
Yep, and I don't know about shorts running for cover here. I mean, aggressive shorts are just licking their chops and saying, "Holy moly!" I was shorting on the close on Friday. Now I get a chance to do it. I mean, we do. It's supposed to be quiet, dog days of August. I mean, your range could be in for the day, 10.25. We already have a 78.5 handle range. Your average daily range comes in at 56.75. So I don't know. I mean, who knows what's going to happen, but we do have some individual stock news, right? We do have some.
One big headline from Celgene and Amgen.
Okay, let's cover that.
Let's go there.
All right. So Bristol Myers, which is buying Celgene, they are spinning off a part of Celgene's business, or they're divesting the Tesla business to Amgen for $13.4 billion. So it's a Celgene company under the BM1 umbrella that they're spinning off to Amgen.
And if you look here this morning, obviously Celgene and Bristol Myers are in a merger, so this is going to directly benefit Bristol Myers because they're the ones that are going to be getting the Celgene assets. So you look here, Celgene is trading up $3.63, up 3.88%. Bristol Myers is trading up $2.50. The risk arb on this actually is Bristol Myers is up more on a percentage basis, but it's a stock for stock deal with cash component. And Bristol Myers actually, Celgene trades with the points. It doesn't trade percentage with Celgene. It trades because the ratio, I have them all written down here, is 1-to-1 plus the $50 from Bristol Myers. So basically for every dollar that Bristol Myers moves, Celgene moves $1 right now too. So technically speaking, with Celgene up $3.61 and Bristol Myers only up $2.40, the risk arbs are adjusting it by $1.20 here this morning because that's out. If that made any sense to anyone except me.
No, I did follow it.
It's moving, yeah. So basically every buck that Bristol Myers moves, Celgene moves $1. So it's with Celgene up 3.5, Bristol Myers up 2.5. It's out $1 here right now. So you can say maybe it's going to come back in. Maybe there's an adjustment factor here happening for Celgene, because I can see the fact that if the merger for whatever reason did not get approved, we're not saying that, but if it didn't, this is good news for Celgene directly then. So I could see how risk arbs would adjust it a little bit for that reason. So I'm not surprised that Celgene is up a little bit more than Bristol Myers for that reason, because I've done risk arb for years. I would probably adjust it too if I was doing that, saying, hey, for whatever reason, Bristol Myers deal doesn't go through. I mean, Celgene's going to really fall hard then, but this is good news for Celgene directly.
And I'm just going to go to the big dog here, Bristol Myers. Just an underperforming stock, okay? Just overall since 2016. It seems like it gets these rallies and then something bad. Was it Opdivo or some other drug that they've been messing around with? So to me, I'm looking at the pre-market high. That comes in the 49 handle. It looks like 49.20 here. Let me give you all the exact level, 49.40. And then I look in June and I say, wow, we stuck our head over 49 a couple times. We actually went to 49.39. How's that for some confluence there? So that's your big level. I think the longer it takes to get over that, I don't even think they have trouble opening over 49 here. Just in the stock. I don't know what's in the book, but man, you want to see 49, 49 and a half, 50, 50 and a quarter, 51. And that's not the way Bristol Myers moves.
No, I'd be fading this rally. I think it's, and obviously it's trading pretty rapidly here in the pre-market. I think it's a gift to the longs. We're in a tape that is terrible. Bristol Myers has been terrible for a long time. I'd be a fader of this rally. I would definitely not be chasing it, and I'm actually tempted to sell it short.
Okay.
No position for me either.
And for Amgen here, AMGN.
Can't buy anything. This is just the way this market is. We saw what happened with VMware getting absolutely destroyed for the Pivotal and CBLK, the Carbon Black merger there, or announcement of the merger. You cannot buy stocks in this market and pay a premium. They punish you for it. And Amgen is down. It's a huge premium. It's a big number, 13 billion. So they're not buying stocks, but they're buying a drug. People don't want you spending your money on anything and paying up for it. And not in this tape right now. This has not worked well for the last 2 years, so I'm not surprised it's down 4. I'd be scared to buy it because I've seen this market just get silly. And then think about Pfizer. Who'd Pfizer buy? That was the start of a disaster for Pfizer. And I'm still long Pfizer in the long-term account. I thought about selling it that day. They even talked against my book that day. So I was like, I should probably sell it, but it's in the long-term retirement account. I'm going to stick with it. I've been in since like $14 or something. So I was like, I didn't want to sell it. I didn't want to trigger the tax, on it either. But they bought somebody. Spencer, you can help us out here. Pfizer bought somebody, paid a premium, and it has been straight down ever since.
They bought two people.
It's back on July 28th, I think.
They bought a couple things. They bought here. Yeah, they bought the Mylan's off-patent business, right?
Yeah.
And then they also bought someone else earlier in the year.
They bought some stuff, and they've punished the stock ever since. So I look at that chart of Pfizer, and I think about Amgen, and I think about a stock that has run up. They could keep
all-time highs, Dennis. What do you think about a biotech stock at nearly all-time highs here?
No, I don't want to buy it. No.
I'm just. Best. You talk about best in breed here.
I mean, it's only a 13 billion. So okay, putting in perspective, it's not like a huge deal. But they hit the stuff on this. They don't like it. So if we go and look at Amgen's market cap, what's the deal? 13 bill? What'd you say?
This morning. Yeah,
helps. Simple math helps sometimes, guys. Okay, so market cap on it's 119 billion. They're paying 13 billion for a drug. They don't like, maybe they're paying up, the drug's worth something, but let's say they paid a $6 or $7 billion premium to go get it. They typically knock that off the market cap. So with 600 million shares outstanding, if you're thinking it was, maybe they paid over by $6 billion, that means they're going to knock 10 points off the thing. It's down 4. That's where I'd be scared. I don't think it's down enough. My opinion. I think it goes lower.
The also when we talk about pre-market charge,
I think it closed under 190 today. I have no position on it. It's just my opinion.
There's a lot of air. First of all, it's on the lows of the pre-market session, which is bad. Secondly, you're cutting through.
The tape's helping it right now, too, because we're up.
Yep.
That's helping. That might not continue to help if we go red.
There's a lot of air in this thing, and I'll just show you the green bar. You went, you had a close of 185.23. You went to 196 and a quarter. The low that day was 82.82. I don't know what happened, if we had a big turn in the market that day or whatever. But under the 197 and a quarter low, your next daily low comes in at 182.82. So a lot of air in there, no daily lows. Maybe you could find a close or a retracement or something in there. But just basing it on the daily price action, I'm not giving you a next daily support level. Oh, actually, 183 looks really nice, because you had a 182.82 low, and the previous day was 183.05. So if you're looking to buy Amgen on a pullback here, if it gets really hit today or over the next couple of days, I really like 183.
I might be trying to short this off the open. Like I said, I have no position right now as I'm talking about it, so I'm going to stop talking about it going forward, but I'm interested in the short side on this. Okay, moving on.
Let's talk about this Lyft upgrade this morning.
There's a few good, interesting upgrades this morning. Yeah, let's do that.
Right, there are a couple ones. So Lyft is getting an upgrade this morning at Guggenheim to buy, and they announced a $60 price target, I do have a little bit of color. Most of the upgrade stems from their thesis that Lyft will become profitable sooner than Uber because Uber has their Uber Eats business and then they need to burn more cash for that.
Both
So
stocks have been just in the complete gutter. I mean, the market has not done well in the last couple, few days, but these stocks have not done well in the last few weeks. So these have been very underperformers here. We get the upgrade near the lows. Maybe they're looking at the May low back at 47.17 and saying, hey, we're down to 48.22. Maybe that's going to hold. It's all about the tape overall, though. So, individual stock analysis is difficult when you're going to have a huge move from the overall market, probably in either direction here today. But again, I'm just looking at this and tape is ugly. It's stock in a downtrend. Even if the tape was good, like the overall market tape was good, it's a stock in a clear downtrend. We've always done better selling stocks that are rallying when they're in downtrends. So I think you up to 51, 52. I think.
Yep.
Sorry, not jumping on this one as long.
50.75 is your pre-market high. So you've already leaked 74 cents from that area. That's not good. That's not, wait, no, what that? Yeah, 6:15 this morning. We hit 50.75. So right there, you've already leaked from there. You need to get above 50.75 if you're really hoping for a rally. If this upgrade really is going to mean anything, I think this will be longer term. On Thursday, you had a low at 51.28 with a 51.36 close. Your high on Friday was 51.56. So that's a major area of resistance going forward. And I don't know what made me think of this or dream about this last night, but I was somewhere and I needed to get home and I was going to call an Uber. But I hate using Uber, because I don't trust them in the driver. And someone said, hey, you could take a bus for like $1.50. And I'm like, you're kidding me. So I took the bus. I don't know what made me think about it.
Blast on the past.
I don't know. That was funny. So I took the bus and it's same
the public transportation.
Yeah, exactly. So who needs Lyft? So I guess the moral of the story is, who needs Lyft or Uber?
I've had two instances in the past month where I don't know what I would have done, or I couldn't even imagine life before Uber or Lyft. So the first one was I was driving to work and I drove over someone on the highway and I immediately got two flat tires. Couldn't drive my car. Had to go to the shop. It was a whole thing. Point was, I pull off the highway into a parking lot. It's 6 a.m. and I'm on the phone with the insurance and I'm thinking, how am I going to get to work? Because I was about 3 miles or so from the office. It wasn't a problem. I called a Lyft. It took 5 minutes. I don't even know what I would have done. I guess I would have had to call a taxi, and I would have been at the mercy of a taxi company. God knows how long that would have taken. So the fact that was a problem that was solved within a matter of seconds, just because of the existence of Uber and Lyft, is I had no way to get to work.
How much it cost you?
I don't know, like $10 or something. Yeah.
Did you check to see if there was a bus from that area or anything?
No. I was in the middle of like northern Detroit. I was not gonna. No.
Good job on taking the Uber.
Right, and then the second one was when I flew into New Jersey a few weeks ago. I was going to get picked up by some family up by the GW Bridge. I flew into LaGuardia. And we were trying to figure out how to coordinate. I decided, I'll just take a shuttle. There's a shuttle from the airport because there's no subway from LaGuardia, but there's a shuttle. I can take the shuttle from the airport to the GW Bridge bus terminal. And I paid ahead of time, $35. And I had my ticket. And I show up there, and you have to call the company when you land. They said, okay, it'll be a half hour. I was like, a half hour? No, forget that. I can get on a Lyft in 10 minutes, and that's what I did. And it was the same price. So it was just two instances where Lyft and Uber was more convenient and or cheaper than any alternative that was out there before.
Did you get your money back from the other place?
I didn't even worry about it. Yeah. So, but two instances in the past month where I don't even know what I would have done without Uber and Lyft.
Well, there's
I can't even imagine life without it.
I love the service, both of the services, Lyft and Uber. I use them when I go anywhere. I immediately look for a Lyft or Uber. Even in the small town where I come from up here, I immediately look to Uber, not a taxi. So I believe in the service.
Taxis.
I believe in the stocks, but it's valuation for me. Valuations are still crazy. That's why I don't own either stock. But I love the service.
The crux of the upgrade this morning, if I could repeat it, is that because Uber burns more cash. They have Uber Eats. They have other areas of the business. Guggenheim expects Lyft to become profitable sooner in 2021 is what they're saying. So they expect the company to turn a profit because they can raise prices because they are not weighed down by other areas of their business. So they can raise prices quicker. They'll become profitable before Uber. That's the crux of the upgrade this morning from Guggenheim.
Imbalances, Dennis, 8:31 and 28 seconds. I think people probably don't know what to do this morning.
They're small. Yeah, exactly. Who's going to be showing their hand if you're an institution here this morning? I don't see, just mixed, small and mixed. I don't see anything really jumping out. I do see a few sound bounces from the banks. The banks are a little bit relatively weaker here this morning, probably because the TLT is actually not down. So keep that in mind. Banks are moving off the TLT always. TLT is flat. So that's not helping the banks. If you look at Bank of America, it's only up 0.68%. They're all lagging on a percentage basis to the overall market here. This is a tech rally. If we really look, the QQQs are up significantly more than the overall market. So we're seeing a rally in tech here this morning more than anything, especially the chips. I noticed the chips were very hot here this morning. Nvidia's up, so AMD trading up 2.6% here this morning. So, just breaking it down, everything is up here this morning, but some stocks are definitely up more than others.
Two things. One, the 30-year bond is way off its high. And it spiked to 167 in 30 seconds last night. So 2 points off the high. So that probably helped the market as well. And then the other thing that I was thinking about from the bond market, and I know you guys like to hear different things from the floor. I remember we used to have to call the S&Ps, like before the open, all the clerks would be, on their desk, like, hey, where are we going to open? Where are we going to open? And, and what we used to do, us pit clerks, we had no idea where it's going to open. And, it just depended on the news, but we would look at the 30-year bond. And I think for like every 4 ticks that the 30-year bond was up, we called the SPOOs up a handle. So if the bonds were up 8 ticks, then we'd say the SPOOs are up 2 handles. And that correlation, that used to work. If there's anybody from the floor that can remember doing that. But yeah, there was no glowbacks, there was no pre-market trading. So, at 9:25 or 8:25 Chicago time, people would want to know where the market was open. And we would take our indications directly from where the 30-year bond has traded. Wow, have times changed on that, huh, Dennis?
We still do the same type of stuff. We're just using different indicators. Obviously, we have 24-hour, quotes, at least, for the most part with the S&P futures, except for on the weekend. So it's easier than it used to be. But, we still take indicators. And like I said, I make most of my money from knowing these relationships and understanding these relationships. And like I said, lately, the TLT is very negatively correlated with the banks. So TLT no movement here today tells me the banks aren't going to be probably up as much as the market, and that's what we're seeing in the pre-market. So it's all those little relationships, where you have people, I just buy Bank of America, somebody said it on CNBC, I like it. Well, if the TLT was up that day, I would probably be selling it short into that because I know that the TLT being up is going to be bad for the banks. TLT flat is not really much of an indicator, but it's not down. And with the market up as much as it is, that's a little bit of a tell too. With the TLT not being down is a little bit of tell for me in the overall market here as well. Normally, the TLT and the overall market don't have that much relationship at all. It's more the financials. But lately, like we've been saying, it seems like the bank's going up, TLT is going down, or the overall market's going, TLT is going down, the overall market will go up with that. Because that's the other concern that everybody keeps talking about is the inverted yield curve. And so we have two major worries out here. The inverted yield curve and China. Those are the 2 worries that everybody is talking about and everybody is worried about. So,
was she talking about the inverted yield curve?
Is Trump going to start talking about the inverted yield curve more? Has he tweeted about that?
Probably.
Yield curve.
I wouldn't be surprised if he had. He tweets a lot, so
there's a lot of tweets going on.
Yeah. Even when he's
still wondering whether we can believe them all here.
Right. So 8:35. Let's take our break of the day, and I will grab our guest, Tracey Ryniec, stock strategist and Zacks Investment Research. We'll be right back in a moment here with Tracey.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Pre-market prep. Spencer Israel, Joel Elconin, and Dennis Dick. Now joined by Tracey Ryniec, as I mentioned. Zacks Investment Research. Tracey, how's it going this morning?
It's good.
All right, Tracey. We got to really get to some important matters in hand here. And first things first, start of college football season coming up this weekend. What are your predictions for Michigan football?
Oh, I don't know this year. We have a real kind of light schedule to start off.
Right.
So I'm a little bit anxious to kind of see what might happen, but I don't know. I like our chances, but the Big Ten is going to be really tough this year. It's going to make it really exciting. Yeah, I feel like a lot of different teams are going to be in play.
You coming in for any games this year?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
I wish I was.
let's get into the second most important thing. And here you are. You work for Zacks Research. You're an analyst. You have to look at the markets. You drill. You do your numbers. You talk to clients. You do your fundamental analysis. I know you do a little bit of technical analysis here. What are you telling your clients now? It's like, oh, you want me to buy any stock right now in this political and environment? I mean, how can you talk about earnings when the inverted yield curve and the tweets and the war with China and the war with Mexico and trying to buy Greenland? I mean, what do you tell your clients?
Well, it all depends on what your investing goals are. If you are a trader, this is a lot more difficult environment, obviously, for all the reasons you just listed. But if you're an investor, you can learn to kind of ignore the noise, even though it's almost nearly impossible to do it, but you can try to learn how to do it. So you really have to think about what your long-term strategy is and then the fundamentals of the companies that you are investing in. Because a lot of them, don't even have much to do with what's going on with the trade war, depending on what industry they're in. And then all this other stuff, the tweeting and everything else, again, like that has very little to do with the fundamentals of most of the companies. So I think people need to take a step back and really think about what their long-term goals are. And then that might give them a little bit more clarity on what they need to be doing, because if you're thinking long term, then maybe some of this volatility is a buying opportunity instead of the other way around.
All right, so let's talk about some of those tariff-proof stocks. I mean, you see, I don't know if Costco has any stores in China or they're affected. You look at your Procter and Gamble. So are you trying to shift your analysis to, companies that are just doing their business here in the United States? Give us a couple of those.
Well, a couple are what you just mentioned. Like some of the big retailers are more North American focused. Costco, you just mentioned, is U.S. and Mexico, actually. So, but a lot of what they're going to sell could be impacted. So you do have to watch for that angle. But yes, a Costco or a company that's reporting this week, Ulta Beauty. Ulta does not have any stores outside of the United States right now, although they are going to expand to Canada, it looks like, here shortly. But for right now, they're only in the U.S. and some beauty may be imported from China, but not as much. France is a much larger import market for beauty items. So a company like that, and beauty is hot right now. We've already seen that with Estee Lauder's report, which was another outstanding report. So I am expecting a good report from Ulta itself too. And a lot of the companies, some of the retail, if you stay away from the apparel side, is not looking too bad.
All right, can you give us a couple other? I mean, you have, Target going one way, Macy's going the other way, and I know on occasion you've dug down in some stocks that the chart hasn't been so pretty, but you've drilled down on your fundamental analysis and given us some good calls over the past. Is there any? I mean, I don't want to say Macy's. I don't even know what to say about some of these other retailers. Is there any that you look at and say, man, they're getting beat up, but man, this is just a little too much based on the fundamentals?
Yes, I would say another company reporting this week, PVH. They are one of the largest of the apparel side, which I just said to be warned about. But if you look at that chart, I mean, they have a single-digit PE now, and it's just been way oversold on the fears about the tariffs. They will see some impacts, but they're one of the largest apparel retailers in the United States, and they know how to run their business. They've been doing it for a couple decades now. They own Calvin Klein and Tommy Hilfiger are their two big brands. Now, one thing to watch with them is that they do own their China Tommy Hilfiger business now outright, and that has been holding up the last several quarters. The Chinese consumer has been buying, but that remains to be seen if that is going to hold up. But at single-digit PEs, a company like PVH, you have to start snooping around in some of these where people think, the end is near, but it really isn't. It's going to get cheap enough where it might make some sense to start a position.
Okay. How about, are there any stocks that you're just like, whoa, just hands off, this dollar's too strong, I'm going to wait for this trade war to be resolved? It's just like, I like them. Maybe they have some potential, but there's just too much political and economic uncertainty. You have any stocks along those lines?
Well, I'm staying away from any of the semiconductors.
Okay.
So I know people love them, and I know a lot of people think that the bottom's already in, but with the Huawei issues and even just what's going on with the trade and tariffs in general, I'm staying away from any of those, the Microns of the world, and I don't consider them to be cheap here. I still consider them to be kind of value traps because those earnings are still being cut by the analysts, still coming down. So I'm staying out of the semis for right now until we, get some more clarity. I don't think they've bottomed yet.
All right. And how about, do you follow anything in the marijuana sector?
Oh, somewhat. Yes. I've listened in on some of those conference calls. I know that everybody loves those stocks and they're getting beat up pretty badly right here, but that's like a new industry. That's what happens when you get investors that are so, excited about a certain area, but there's very few investing opportunities. I still like some of the bigger names that have taken stakes in some of the companies. I still feel like that's a better way to play it, like the Constellation brands of the world. That is just an easier way to get in. But another good company that people don't really think about is that there is a REIT that does marijuana. It actually owns buildings where people grow medical marijuana in the United States. It pays a dividend yield, and it's called Innovative. It's IIPR is the ticker, and it's just an interesting company because they're actually making earnings and they pay it out as a REIT does with a dividend yield, I think around 2% right now. So that stock is kind of crazy if you look at the chart on that one. But
what's the symbol again?
It's IIPR.
Okay.
And every state that is legalizing the medical marijuana, this company has been opening up facilities. They buy the building and then they lease it out to those in the industry. And so they have been growing. I think they're up to like 12 or 13 states now that they have facilities in. It might be more now. But people should listen in on those conference calls with that company because it's a little different than what you're finding in the other types of marijuana investments, which are the growers. They're basically the farmers. But this side is a real estate venture, and there could be, quite a bit of growth opportunity there on that. And it's in the United States, which makes it kind of a rare marijuana play right now in the U.S. versus Canada.
And what about, anything in the automotive sector here? They got hit on the news on Friday. You have, I guess you got your Fords and your GMs and your Teslas. And I guess if you want to, I don't know, do you have to include Uber and Lyft in the automotive sector now? I'm not sure, but all those companies looking cheap on the charts. Value traps or something that once this trade war is resolved will be worth taking a look at?
Yeah, the auto. I'm not a big fan of autos right now.
Be honest.
Because China is slowing, and the auto sales have been awful in China. And Ford and GM, they're big in China, and it's not good, and it's unclear when it's going to turn around. I think their sales have been down month over month for about 13 months now. And it's, expected to bounce back by next year. Of course, they think it will, but I don't know. I'm staying away from that. And even with the U.S. consumer, who's holding up pretty well, there is excess inventory now in the U.S. The consumer here looks like they might be holding back a bit on buying new autos again. And so, I feel like we could see, further slowdown maybe on the auto side. So I'm not a big fan of that area right now.
Tracey, when you mentioned you listen to conference calls, what are some of the things that you listen for or aren't listening for on a conference call?
Well, right now it would be any kind of tariff discussion and or if they're moving production, if it's someone who's manufacturing something out of China. I also look for, with the retailers, obviously, foot traffic and what's going on online. What are the online sales looking like? A lot of the retailers also will talk about the promotional environment and whether or not they'll even call it that, like heavily promotional right now. And that's a bad sign because that means they are putting on a lot of sales. It's probably going to impact their margins. They might have to market more, spend more on marketing. So those are just a few of the things I look for. It depends on the industry, though.
All right, and to wrap things up, besides Tom Brady, who is your favorite Michigan football player of all time?
Oh,
come on.
Wow. I don't know. I don't know if I have probably Desmond Howard, I would say.
Okay.
Because I was there when he was there, and the excitement level was through the roof when he was playing. So I would say Desmond Howard.
Charles Woodson for me.
Oh, yeah. He's up there, too.
Yep.
For sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Tracey. And we got to get you. I know you're busy during earnings season, but we're getting a lot of people saying they really enjoyed this interview. So we are going to get you on a little bit sooner next time. Okay.
Okay. Great.
All right. Have a good one, Tracey.
Okay. Talk to you later.
All right, S&Ps, we're hanging in here in the 2970 handle. We had a little dip at the start of the show. I believe we went to 2866, and now we're hanging up here at 2870. We're losing, big range here, really whipping around. I think for the upside, I think to make this like a really good day and make me go to sleep tonight thinking, wow, maybe this is going to be a quiet week. Then we're going to take out the pre-market high at 2888.50. We're going to climb into the 2900 handle and maybe not close above 2900, but we'll make an attempt on it. On the downside here, I think at some point we're going to go red here. But I'll throw out all that crazy action from overnight, and I'll look at the close from Friday, and that close was 28.55.50. If we can close above that, I think that'd be another positive. On the negative side, we take out that low, we take out the pre-market low, and we close under 2,800. A lot of different scenarios here, but just trying to keep it even tempered. Triple D, are you seeing any change in or action in the stocks you found?
We're just kind of, it's funny, we've had such an overnight range, but we really haven't, since we started the show, it hasn't moved around too much. We kind of are where we started almost. So I think this market's just waiting. They're waiting for, first of all, confirmation whether this, tweet from Donald Trump or about this phone call is real. And, and everybody is just battling here. I mean, you got the buy the dippers out there saying, this is still, a lot of things going for this market here, especially in the U.S. And, this is a good opportunity to buy the bottom of the range. I mean, think technically even here, we went from the top of the range to the bottom of the range in a little over, 2 days, two-day trading period. And breaking through the bottom of the range in the after-hours session, but not in the regular session. So, I mean, the range traders are still just saying, hey, we're down here. We're going to go back up to those highs. I'm going to make my, 50 handles again. I think we're eventually going to break through the bottom of this range. It's my opinion. That's why I'm not buying the dip here. Wasn't buying.
Not really a dip anymore, you know?
Well, I know it's really. I'm tempted to sell the rally here. So I think you're getting another shot, but I could be wrong. I mean, I was right on Friday, and I'd be right all the time. I just feel like this market has too many unknowns. I think this China deal is not close, despite what maybe other people are saying. I think this is going to go on for a while, and I think you got a lot of other issues going on too. So I don't think this is the market you need to just be coming in here and buying hand over fist that we're going back to new all-time highs right away. And everybody's on vacation. So, people are probably coming back from vacation fairly quickly, maybe cutting their vacation short when they see this kind of volatility. But, when September rolls around, you're going to get a lot more action happening as all the money managers are back at the desks.
All right, Spencer, did you want to hop in?
No, just with some more ratings.
Sure. Go ahead.
There was one that really caught my eye this morning, more than Lyft.
I know what it is.
Dish Networks. Was that the one you were thinking?
Close.
Okay.
Dish is a good one. Go ahead with the rating.
This is an interesting call. Raymond James upgrading Dish from neutral to strong buy. Not buy, strong buy. Announced a $44 price target, which is not as high as some others on the street, but a contrarian call this morning from Raymond James on Dish Networks, the satellite dish provider. They also own Sling TV.
What's wrong with my chart on Dish?
It's up. Is that what's wrong with it?
No, my daily. I only have 4 days of data here. Why is that?
How's
yours? You have your daily. You're working. I don't know why. Something with my quote provider here or whatever is something.
Try Control R.
No, but seriously, I've got to look at your chart here. I mean, this chart is not surprising to me at all that it's had the significant fall. I'm just looking at yours, in the last couple of months. I mean, I think this is a business model that is under complete attack from streaming. I mean, everybody's going to streaming. It's a streaming wars. Dish Network is like ground zero for being under attack for that. I don't want anything to do with this company. Nothing, not at this. I think AT&T's purchase DirecTV is a reason that I don't even want to own AT&T. So I'm definitely not going to buy a satellite TV provider directly. Maybe they're going to try to get into some other stuff and do their own streaming of their own.
Well, they do have some exposure to.
Well, they all try, and DirecTV tries to do some of their own streaming of their own as well. But this is what's under attack: cutting the cord and cutting the cable, cutting the cord to the satellite dish too. So I think this is any rally into this is to be sold, in my opinion. I don't like these stocks at all.
Couple things. One is, don't they have like 1 million channels on there? Like, I've been over to people's house and they've had it, and like, you just go.
Still can't find anything to watch.
Yeah, and also, whenever I see these dishes outside people's house, I'm thinking, man, oh man, I just know if I had one of those things that it would be going out, it wouldn't be positioned the right way. When we used to get the spook quotes off a dish that we had on the rooftop of the oldie building, every time we got a heavy snowstorm, we had to go up there and like dig the dish out.
I think it's better than that now. Like, I mean, it's better than we don't have to. The dishes it's gotten better like that. But I just think, don't you think, like streaming wars, isn't this like ground zero?
I don't know. Buy Roku, right? Instead of doing this.
Well, that's what Roku is, the direct play on
Roku is the dish for the modern era. So
yeah, it's taking advantage of the streaming, and this is the one that's under attack from it. In my opinion, this is directly under attack from the streaming wars. This is not a stock I want to own at all.
Spotty trades here. I do see a couple thousand shares, but like that print at 32.87. If you're looking, if you're banking on that to be the opening print, only 20 shares traded there. So I don't know, Dennis, what's your secret formula for how much this should be up? Because I don't see a lot of volume. Let me see if I can find a daily high. All right, 32.77, 32.80.
It's upgraded, so you're going to get 2-3% move on an upgrade, but I think the upgrade gets faded.
33. This has to plow through 33, or else I think you got to fade here in Dish.
I mean, this is the company that bought Blockbuster in when? 2010, 11, 13? Somewhere around.
I thought Blockbuster went bankrupt.
No, before that.
They bought a piece of it or something.
Yeah. Or after that. After that, they bought what was left. But yeah, so they do own.
Sorry, it's RJ upgrading them, fading
Yep.
it. Sorry.
Yep.
No, I don't have any position, but paper fading it.
What was the symbol of Blockbuster, Dennis?
BBI.
Yep. Ding, 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 ding. Better than you did on Friday.
You gotta give me that symbol. Give me the ticker symbol. Show rock that.
Give me
another one.
I would not do that poorly. I could challenge Dennis on tickers, I think.
I think you should put me under.
I can hold my own.
Put me under ticker time and see how quickly I can get the tickers. Like go like
I can hold my own.
To stuff. I'm pretty good. I'm gonna miss some of the penny stocks and stuff. I'm pretty good on some of the bigger ones. We're taking off here again. What's going on?
I don't know. My phone rang. I didn't look to see who it was, but no. I'm gonna put Brent against you for the ticker.
Brent's would be pretty good.
Yeah, that would be it. That would be it.
Blasting.
Yeah,
what's up, Luke?
I'm looking here. I don't really know what's
going on. We just rallied 10 handles.
No tweets, which is always the first place you got to look. So
futures, as Trump says, China wants to make it. I think they're just regurgitating the same news, isn't it? Or is this a new tweet?
No, there's no
another tweet.
There are no new tweets.
Cancel all orders.
These are all the people that were sleeping, and then they get up and they turn on CNBC at 9 o'clock, and they're like, "Oh," and then they're like, "I'm buying," and then they start. Maybe that's it, because I don't see any new information on that. But all right, pre-market highs in play now, folks. 28.88.
Holy mackerel!
Man, oh man, Dennis, I hope you're going wide on your market making.
I just cancel all orders. You got to just cancel. I'm out there and I like pick, sold. I'm like, okay, great. Now I got to adjust here again.
I saw one
life of people trying to provide liquidity in this market.
Stop trying to do it. What about an interesting rating change here from Seaport Global?
So what was the headline? I never got what the headline was.
I'm looking for a headline for you.
China wants to head back to.
Did he tweet that just now?
I don't know.
No, I'm telling you, there are no new tweets in the past few minutes.
Something happened. We went right 7 handles there.
Trump is saying U.S. and China will start talking very seriously.
Was that a tweet just now?
I think, and by _Apple, I think this is just regurgitating.
Yeah, it's regurgitating the news that we had from a couple hours ago. So I don't know.
Yep, I think so. As I was saying here, Seaport Global, a smaller firm, they're coming out positive today on Canopy growth. They're upgrading it from neutral to a buy, a price target of $31. So I don't know, only 7 points. That's not much of a price target here. New low for the move yesterday, not an all-time low, trading up 52 cents. Dennis, is this enough to spark your interest in the cannabis sector?
No. Next.
Okay. Is a
rallies to be sold in cannabis. I've been saying I've been right here for 2 months on that. I think I'm going to continue to be right on that trade.
Is a
valuation matters all of a sudden, and they're all ridiculous.
Cree downgraded Piper Jaffray this morning to underweight CREE. $38 price target there for Cree.
You're downgrading it now?
Yeah. Thanks. Way late to the party. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Next.
Okay. Couple Foot Locker downgrades in response to earnings.
Way late to the party. Next.
Late to the party there. I'm just going through the list.
All right,
here.
I got a new one.
Give me something good.
I'm trying.
I got one.
Still Dynamics.
Still Dynamics. I don't want to bring up the chart of this one. Oh, yes, it's predictable. Actually, it's held up better than some of the steel stocks, so it's still horrible.
You keep saying that, and I keep telling you to sell. And
still horrible.
It's held up better. How about DTE up at Wells Fargo? Detroit.
This is late to the party too, kind of. Well, you know what, DT? Look at these utility stocks. This one hasn't even moved at all. I mean, the TLT is straight up, and usually they're positively correlated with it. This stock hasn't gone anywhere. So it's not as good of a yielder as some of the other ones. Maybe that's why. Why has this lagged so much? Because look at the XLU. Well, I guess it hasn't gone that far either, but this has gone nowhere.
Because half of Michigan loses its power all the time, and so I have a generator.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
I like this one better than any of the other ones. I don't think I like any of the ratings today, but I like this one better than the other ones.
Last one, NetApp, NTAP upgraded Cowen to neutral. And on that note, that'll be it for our show. Thanks to our guest, Tracey Ryniec. Thanks to all of you in our chats on YouTube and premarket.benzinga.com. Catch our podcast, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, wherever podcasts are available, or we watch the show on YouTube. Please remember, all the information from our show meant to be used as informational purposes only, not for investing or trading advice. Questions, comments, concerns, email us, premarket@benzinga.com. Everyone have a great rest of your day. We will talk to you again on Tuesday.